Hey, what is happening, folks? Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. It's kind of like the new live stream of consciousness for those of you who have been here before. But for those of you who haven't, what's up, Ninja Kitty? This is the live stream of consciousness. It's a show, a place where I invite people on to have amazing conversations about their transformation from being unconscious to being conscious. Basically, kind of realizing that there's more to life than what they had thought at one point. So that's what I'm here for, and I'm glad you guys can join me. I'm excited to be doing this. If you are here from before and you don't know what's happening, I used to co-host the show with Jesse Blaze Snyder, and it was so much fun. We had some great conversations, but we are working on a different project with Jesse that he's a little more passionate about. With his music and his comic book writing, and I think we're going to focus on that for Jesse. And I stepped in front of the camera for the live stream of consciousness, and I'm just loving it. I love having these conversations with people, bringing on all my different spiritual friends who you've all met through the show, and friends who do other stuff and happen to also be spiritual, and that's what we're doing tonight. So again, welcome, whoever's out there. You're welcome to say hello. I like to interact with the audience and put the chat up and all of that stuff. But tonight I am going to be talking to an incredible woman. She goes by Dottie Mayfield, and she is a model. What's up, Janice? Good to see you out there. Dottie Mayfield is a model. That's how I met her. I was doing a lot of photography a few years ago, and something's up with my hair tonight. I was doing a lot of photography years ago, and we met through Janice says, Ninja says hello, Janice. We met through photography. She has some amazing modeling stuff up. I billed her as the timeless, divine feminine tonight because that's what she is to me. That's what I see when I look at her. She's basically this image of divine femininity and very timeless. I'm going to bring up some of the work that she's done so you guys can see it. I'm just waiting for her to come on into the green room. She said she had logged on earlier and tested everything out, but I don't see her. I'm actually going to send her the link again. Give me 1 second here, guys, to send her the link. But how is everybody doing out there? I'm doing amazing. As you guys know, I've been working at this studio, and we've actually been growing and hiring some young camera people and filmmaker people, and it's really great to be kind of the experienced one in the situation they're coming into, and so eager to learn and already really know how to do their stuff. So today we threw together a nice quick Mother's Day promo for Chocolate Works, and it looks like a little film. It's great. I'm really happy with how it came out. It was a team effort, and everything's awesome there. So Janice is saying hello. I forgot to pull that down. So again, I kind of was expecting Dottie to be on a little earlier so I could prep her a little bit, but I don't know where she is. I'm hoping that she's going to show up. I just sent her the link again, um, and I'm excited to be doing this live stream by myself. I have some interesting guests lined up, and it's interesting now. I'm not looking at Jesse. I should probably set this up a little bit different so I can look at you guys while I talk. What's happening, folks? So I guess I'll talk a little bit about Dottie until she gets here, and I'll put up some of the work that I collected. I was a little disappointed because I didn't get to find all of the work that we have done together, because I shot with her a few times. This is one of the times that we shot together. This was an amazing experience. I'm hoping to kind of recount this experience with her when she gets here. That we did kind of a model photographer swap meet where we had I think there were probably four models that we had, and we had rented this mansion for the day, and that was just the stairway of the mansion, and it was just such, every little corner of the house was beautiful. So there were like three or four photographers, and each photographer would kind of grab a model and be, not literally, but go to some corner with a model and start shooting. And this was one of the pieces that came out of that shoot, which I'm always pretty proud of. And when I say timeless, that was kind of what I meant about Dottie, was that she has this look about her that is just like ultimately feminine, and it stands through time. So you'll see it, some of this other work as I go through it. It doesn't look like it was shot recently. It looks like it was shot like through the ages, more modern ages, photography, but like the 70s and the 80s and stuff like that. So so here's another shot of Dottie. I kind of want to go through this with her because I want to give credit to the photographers that shot this stuff. I don't know who the photographer is on that shot. I know that she shoots with a friend of mine, Keith Myers. So she'll probably talk a little bit about Keith, because I know she shoots a lot with him, and he's also really good. So this may be one of his pieces. I'm not really sure. But again, that's just, to me, that's like a timeless image that you would see in a magazine. Ninja Kitty says amazing pics. Yes, she's a beautiful woman, and again, that lens, that photographers love, that kind of timeless look, where it makes your job easy, and her job is easy. She's just got to be her. So I feel like there was like a soul behind Dottie, which is why I invited her on the live stream of consciousness. We started talking about spirituality and the state of the world, and where most people were as far as awareness. And so it was interesting to learn she had this very, very deep intellectual side, and kind of listen to Alan Watts and Esther Hicks, and some of the same people that we like to talk about. And yeah, it was just really cool. So that's why I invited her on the show. So I'm excited to talk to that aspect of her. Again, this is some of her modeling stuff. So I'm going to take another look. This is more like probably 70s or 80s, I'm thinking, in this shot. But again, I feel like when I'm looking at her work, I feel like I'm looking through time, at different eras of femininity. That's what I see represented by Dottie here. So again, not sure of who the photographer is. We'll go through these again with Dottie. She just texted me that she will be here. She says she's coming now, so I'm looking forward to seeing her pop in. And let's take a look at the next one. Go through these really quickly. This is an interesting one. She has a very Marilyn Monroe look. I'm sure we'll talk about that. And I actually discussed with her doing a project or two based around Marilyn Monroe, and recreating some Marilyn Monroe type images, even using Marilyn Monroe as an iconic pop figure and putting her in interesting situations. That's kind of cool about having a model that looks like Marilyn Monroe. You can kind of create this different situations and put Marilyn Monroe in them. Let's go to the next one. So this one's a little more Playboyish, but not like modern Playboy. This is like very, very timeless. That's the only way I can really describe it. So again, not sure of the photographer. I want to give them credit, so I'm hoping Dottie gets here soon to tell us who these photographers are. Some more Marilyn looking stuff. Certainly the hairstyle here, but her face has also got that classic beauty and Marilyn look. I feel like she does. A couple more here. This one is amazing. The photo in general, just I'm sure a lot of photographers love this, just using that natural sunlight coming in. Actually, it's coming in on this side. I'm reversed, so it's coming in on this side and giving that photo that amazing light. I mean, yeah, that's just really wonderful. Good stuff. What do you guys think? I think I got a couple more shots here. Yep, another Marilyn Monroe kind of homage with the red dress and the makeup, the way the makeup's done here. I think this is all kind of homage to Marilyn. Probably Keith Myers. Not sure. This one is actually another one that was done that same day. I didn't take this one. This is Keith Myers. And this was at that White House mansion shoot that I was talking about. That house was, I believe, in Oakdale, or like right on 27, maybe on 27A, in that area, Oakdale, Sayville. That was where that house was. So that was such a great day. Just kind of working with the different models in that great environment. Definitely one of my favorite experiences as a photographer. I think that might be the last one. Nope. Oh, I know I have a viewer or two from the from the past who might like this Pennywise style photo. Pretty cool. But again, I feel like Dottie's stuff is always high fashion. It's always got a certain amount of class to it. Again, timeless, divine, feminine. I mean, that's really the best way I found to describe Dottie. So yeah, that's why I was really happy to reconnect with her. We've been talking over the last couple of weeks, and when I talked to her earlier, and I said, "Oh, I couldn't find some of the photos that were from that White House shoot," she said, "Oh, that means we got to shoot again." So I'm excited to be possibly be collaborating with her again. I hope she's not having some trouble, but I am here waiting for you, Dottie, if you're out there. And there she is. What is happening, Dottie Mayfield?
Hi, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing? I was just going through some of your work while I was waiting for you. I'm gonna bring it up again because I want you to talk about each experience, because I think each image is so
Okay,
great.
sure. Thank you for having me, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm super excited. I'm going to ask you a favor, only because I'm kind of like this techno geek. Can you turn your phone sideways? Is it possible?
Sure. Yeah.
Because then we'll get a nice full screen. Hopefully, it should flip.
Upside
Or
down?
no, it should automatically flip. Oh, maybe you have your phone set not to change direction. Okay, you can put it back.
My phone is, I don't know. I always
It's
have a
it's all good. I just sometimes it'll fill up the screen better. We'll be on even ground.
Gotcha. Maybe I can come in a little bit, but I have my little light. I don't know.
Oh, it's all good. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So it's great to see you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. All of your regular viewers.
um, let me tell you a little bit about the live stream and what we do. Um, the first question that we usually ask everybody, I gave you a little time to prepare this one, and we started talking about it. I didn't want you to give it all up, but what does consciousness mean to you? What is consciousness?
I think it is our point of awareness, the I am awareness, that I am here, I am within my body, I am a thinking consciousness, a being that can feel in a place of time. I mean, we've spoke briefly about time. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say it specifically because there's so many ways to say it that people can comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to vaguely put it for me, it's just the I'm here, the state of awareness that I'm in existence.
Mm-hmm. Cool. No, that is again. I think I was telling you the reason I love asking that is because everybody has a little bit of a different answer. Some people answer it from the I am. Some people answer it from kind of the bigger collective consciousness, and it's just great because we're all part of the story, regardless. I think that's almost like the easiest way to understand being part of a collective, right? Is that
Yeah.
there's a story happening and we're all part of it, right? I mean, to me, that's the simplest. Oh, I'm getting some probably because the phone and this feedback and echo. Let me see if I can fix that. That may be better. Lowered my volume a little bit. The reason that I even decided to have you here is because our friendship up until this point. I mean, we worked together as a photographer and a model,
Yeah.
and I've always been an admirer of your work. As I was describing to the audience, your work is always very, very classy, very, very timeless. You specifically have this very timeless face. I'm going to bring up the work. I'd love for you to talk about who shot each shot and kind of what the idea is, because I almost feel like you're part of that artistic creation and vision.
All the time. Yeah, usually.
So I want you to talk about that. Hold on, let me bring these back to the beginning. First one I put up was the only one that I could find from our wonderful experience at the mansion.
What a day. What a day that was.
That was such a great day. Yeah, and I was telling everybody, how that worked and how everybody connected and how each little nook and cranny was amazing to shoot it.
It really was. It really, really was. It was beautiful to shoot in. I wanted to buy it so bad.
Yeah. I wonder if it's still there. Now, where was it? That was on 27A, if I remember, right? And was it Oakdale?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, that sounds really familiar. I think that's what it was. It was out in Suffolk, right?
Yeah, it was in Suffolk. Oh, that's right. You're from Nassau County, so Suffolk is like out there to you, right?
Yeah. It's like going upstate practically. It's a 3-hour drive.
Wow. Yeah, it was, I believe it was the South Shore in Suffolk. But anyway, one of the photographers that I know you work with often also was there, Keith Myers. I know you do a lot of work with him. I admire his work as well and his work with you, which is very cool. So let's talk about this next one, because this one's really amazing.
This one was shot by Agnes. This was in her apartment. And she had the most beautiful Manhattan windows in this particular apartment. I don't know if she still has it, but True Muse Boudoir Photography. And I mean, she is a pleasure, a pleasure. She just captures the essence of women and even parts of themselves that you don't realize that you would consider beautiful. You look at the photograph, the way that she sees you, and you're like, wow, wow, and I am so grateful to have worked with her and have such a body of work from her. So yeah, I mean, I have that sweater still, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still have that sweater. It was a Marilyn inspired sweater.
Totally. Yeah, it was one of the things I mentioned was your resemblance to Marilyn, specifically when you try.
Yeah, I mean, even when I'm not trying, if I have usually no makeup on, depending on how my hair is styled also, but generally everyone says it. They stop me, either that or Anna Nicole or Scarlett Johansson. It depends on the day.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Anna Nicole, I remember that when we met. And then Scarlett Johansson, I can totally see that. I just hadn't thought of that. I'm still in the old days.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on my weight if it fluctuates.
Mhm.
During these photographs that you pulled up, I was actually very sick. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, my gallbladder was giving me a lot of problems, and no one could figure it out that it was that. So I'd gotten sick for many, many years, and it was really hard to actually go to the shoots. And I still, put in all the work that I could, because I mean, at the end of the day, I still love doing it, and I didn't want to let anything stop me. So
Right, right. I have to apologize to the audience. I see some chatter about the feedback, and I think it's probably I don't normally have someone join on the phone, so I'm not. I don't want you to feel bad, but I think that may be it, guys. So hopefully you could hang in there with it.
I
I do
can't
hear
see
it a little
anything
bit
but you and
feedback.
I.
What's that?
I can't see anything but you and I.
Oh, okay. Um, I do hear a little bit of echo, but if you hear me fine, then you can answer my questions, and I'll be quiet while you talk. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
Same day, same shoot.
Yeah, it's amazing because I feel like the last one was like 70s, and this one's like 80s. You know what I mean? It's like that was one of the things I was talking about.
Well, that's the thing. I get a lot of remarks about how different I look from each photograph to being on camera and in person. And it's true. There are some people that are very, very photogenic. There are some people that look great on camera, but not so great in photos. And there's some people that look gorgeous in person, and suddenly on a photograph, you're like, ooh. But I always blame lighting for that.
What was that? You were doing lighting for this one?
I usually blame lighting.
Oh, you usually blame lighting.
If you don't look that great in person, it depends. Like, nobody looks that great in court.
Well, you know what? Lighting is very important. You know what I mean? Especially as a photographer, Um, so, all right. So let's go to that next one. Oh, did I lose you? Oh, I think I lost you for a second. Are you there? Oh, no. I think Dottie was trying on her computer earlier, so maybe.
No, I'm back. Can you see me or hear me?
Oh, now I do. Yeah. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
Nope. Now you're frozen again. This is like talking to my mom on FaceTime in the old days when it wasn't really stable. I'm sorry. I got to apologize to you and to my audience.
I'm so sorry.
Are you there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
I'm just really good at sitting still.
All right. So you know what I'll do? We'll come back to these photos. And I really want to give you space. That's really why I invited you to the show. I want you to talk about who you are because I love who you are and I love the energy that you have, and I think the world needs to experience it and just the love that you have. I think is something that the world needs. So why don't you tell me your story? Because I know where you're at now, but tell me how you got to where you're at as far as your spiritual philosophies.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. I would say it started in 2017 when my father passed away.
Uh,
Anticipate.
I think you're freezing up again. I don't know if everybody else is getting you frozen, but as soon and maybe it's your father. He said it started when your father passed in 2017, when my father passed, and then you froze. So
Really?
yeah, so let's.
They say there's like a theory out there that they don't want people waking up.
Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that, really.
Hmm. There's a little conspiracy saying that people, like chosen ones that are meant to wake up.
Oh no. Oh no, this is crazy. Now you're scaring me, Dottie.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. I we'll figure this out. You know what? Um, did something go on with your computer? You were on your computer earlier. It was not working.
We can try again. My computer wasn't allowing me access to the camera or the microphone. Apparently, there's something running within the background, and there's nothing running.
Oh,
But we can try
okay.
again.
Okay. We'll try again.
We'll try again.
All right. So I think Dottie is going to log on with her computer and come back on with it. I apologize to everybody for all of that static. I can hear it. So I hear what you're experiencing. I see a couple of people are coming on and jumping off. I assure you that the conversations that we have here at the live stream are really freaking amazing, and the people here are really amazing, and it's worth it. I'm hoping that when she comes back we can talk. If not, I'll bring it back another day. But in the meantime, the couple of people that I got here, thank you, Lily. I really appreciate that. What do you guys think of the new intro? Let me run it again and tell me how I can make it better. All right, because right now I'm just kind of killing some time and making this work. Hey, so what did you think of that, guys? I see Dottie's back. So Dottie, I just replayed the intro. Oh yeah, there you are, widescreen.
Is it good now?
It's great now. Awesome. I just replayed the intro because I wanted to see what people thought, and Ninja Kitty says she loves it. I don't know if you got to see it, but I changed it up. Yeah, I changed it up because it's a new era.
It's a new era.
So, this is perfect, Dottie. You sound so clear and you look so beautiful. So,
thank you.
why don't we start again? Why don't you tell us in 2017 when it started for you?
Okay, well, in 2017, my father, he had passed away, and I was in the middle of going through, I guess, a crisis. I didn't realize how much he held within my foundation of my entire life.
Sure.
And so, I obviously had to accept that, and I was in the middle of getting a divorce.
Okay.
And, we had been separated, but, it was off and on, and it was a lot. And, I had just gotten over major health hurdles. And I was moving out of somewhere that I had lived for 10 years. Wow. So it was just a lot all at once. And I was already looking to have more kids by 30. And I figured it was a good, age again to start over. I had them, in my early 20s. Okay, early 30s, let's retry this. And biological clock's ticking. So I was like, let me do it while I still have some, of my own hip in there.
Right.
So, it all just went south, like everything. It was really hard. My babies are wonderful. I had two other kids in
How many do you have
2019.
altogether?
I have five. I have
Wow.
five kids
Dottie.
altogether.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
true Empress energy.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love kids. I always said I would have more if I had the time and the money. If I did, I would. But
That's awesome.
I love being a mother. I love the what it is.
Right.
And not I understand today it's not everybody's like dream job or dream goal, but since I was little, that's more than anything, I wanted to be a mother.
And it's so evident how much it means to you and how passionate you are about it. That's I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it got me thinking, how do I move forward after losing my father and be okay with starting new chapters of my life without him in it
Mm-hmm.
for my kids and myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this realization that I had to find within myself led me down a more spiritual path, I would say. After what I considered to be a great heartbreak in my relationship recently, I found myself going through what many call the dark night of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I shaved my head completely down to the skin, like just down. And
Right.
I started meditating, and I got into tarot. And I had always been very open minded to all religions, not just one. Although I was raised as a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
previously with my grandmother, she was very Catholic, but most of my best friends were Jewish. So, it was a little bit of a lot of exposure, I would say, a little bit of everything, but a lot of everything, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so being open-minded, I don't know, I'm kind of a closeted science nerd too. I'm really into quantum physics.
You were
And
telling me.
I would say Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton. I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
I was looking at some of the stuff you had mentioned him the other day, and I just thought I've been so busy, but I looked at it. I'm like, oh man, this is right up my alley.
Yeah. So, I would say I probably found myself closer to God through science. All of the recent breakthroughs that they've made, it just logically lined up so much with what every religious teaching, basically the point that they're trying to get across, is making.
Right.
So, I would say I felt guided the whole time to what steps led up to my information that was being given to me little by little, so that eventually one big thing would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
Mm-hmm.
never forget the moment that it finally made sense.
Okay.
I'm shivering, I'm sorry. I was
Is it
listening
chills or are you
to,
cold?
I'm cold. My room is,
Oh,
I
I
have
think you're
like
getting chills
7
telling the
windows. I
story.
didn't turn the heat on because it would make so much noise for the video.
Oh.
It's an old steam radiator, so
Oh no.
it's okay. But I was watching a video of Abraham Hicks,
Mm-hmm.
and she had described one of her channel. And I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So she was describing in her video about one of her channeling experiences, and
Okay.
she wanted to meet Abraham, the spirit or entity, or call it what you will,
Mm-hmm. Janice was
that
possessed.
she was receiving messages from her higher self, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I want to see you. Can you show me what you look like? And Abraham explained how we will look different to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's your personal beliefs that create the image that you'll see, basically. And so that, it resonated with me when I heard those words.
Mm-hmm.
And she said her experience went something like this. It was a giant ball of light that just, it exploded into what looked like trillions of little fireflies. And the way that it was described was, God, the one consciousness, was a ball of shining light. And when it exploded, it turned into trillions of little fireflies that are us. And it was just like, boom, the Big Bang Theory. No way. And, I was watching, I believe his name was Matthias Di Stefano. If I'm not pronouncing that right, I'm sorry.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He remembers past lives, and he was talking about in one of his videos. I can't remember which one, but it was.
He's got a show on Gaia.
Yeah. And he was talking about, how God started. And, this was something I previously watched before this video, so it wouldn't have made sense otherwise. And he said that, in the space, the void of darkness, God's consciousness emerged. And I think I may not be saying this correctly, but something to the effect of, what am I? Who am I? Where am I? The basic questions that almost every human finds themselves asking. What are we? Where did we come from? Why are we here? And so with that, it again resonated with me when Abraham Hicks talked about the explosion and us all being the little fireflies, because we're all asking the same questions. And it made perfect sense to me. I was like, wow, we're all exactly the extension of God.
And those are totally my beliefs, exactly how you described it. I had never heard that particular story from Esther. But that's
I'll definitely send you the link, because I usually try to save all of my videos.
Yeah.
Since I started this, I will save every video that led up to my knowledge.
Right.
So eventually I'm going to put them in chronological order.
That's a great story. But I think it's something that's important here that we're talking about, and I think it's easy for us to relate, is because you have to step back and you have to define God. And I think that that's kind of where, I don't want to say the trouble begins, but that's where the delineation is between consciousness. You know what I mean? I think more conscious people understand God on a different level than a person, a being, something like that, where I think, a lot of people right now, that's what they believe, that's how they define
they
God.
look at it as like a separate, completely separate being, a completely separate body, a completely separate entity that is above and higher.
Right.
And there are, how do I put this? I'm not stepping on anyone's religion. I don't want to do that. People, it has its place. It has its place, and it has its time, and it has its benefits. Has many drawbacks, in my opinion. If you're a little less open-minded to hear someone else, for me, it was like, okay, I realized 8 other religious stories had the same story that resembled Jesus to a T. And I was like, okay, well, that's enough truth in it for me to recognize a pattern that, okay, so this is basically one story being told by many different civilizations. And then you can kind of peek at the agenda behind each story coming from each place. And I'm like, okay, well, I smell BS and I smell some truth. Let's go find it. And that's basically my quest for truth mixed with some science. It's like, oh yeah, this is great.
Right. And that I say that a lot, as well, as far as I see all of these things, and this is what I say about, I know a lot of people who are psychic mediums, who read Akashic records, who do all of these different things, and to me, I'm like, all of those modalities are really the same,
Yes,
so the same way you talk about religion, it's all really comes down to the one, right? So I mean, it's all the same.
I love the phrase, we are created in God's image. Because of the fact that we literally are here to create. As our creator created us, we are creating. And it just kind of makes sense.
Right.
We are creating the world we live in. We created this.
Yeah. I don't think it kind of makes sense. I think it makes total sense. There was a point. It's interesting. There was a point where I stopped. I realized that I don't believe the things that I'm saying. I know the things that I'm saying. The things, the knowledge that you're seeking, that you're talking about, as you're seeking it and you find it, it's the kind of thing where you can't go backwards. It's
I'm
like,
struggling. I'll be honest with you. I am struggling because now, I don't know if you've heard the joke, like, okay, now that you've reached 5D consciousness, how do you go back to?
I
And
didn't
so
hear the
now
joke.
it's like I go between having conversations with someone like you, where I
Mhm.
can go all in and I'm like excited. I'm like, boom, 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 here's the video. Yeah, 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 we get it. And
Right.
then it's like, you talk to somebody else on the street, you're being nice, and then you're talking, and you realize, like, wait, okay, I just hit like 30 brick walls within their personality. I can't break through. I have to draw back, quit, retreat,
Right.
and I have to learn how to tone down how deep, I guess, my eagerness to share some of this information can be, and I have to make it palatable
Mhm.
for people that are still there because I have to remember that I was there too. I was asleep
Sure.
too. I wasn't
Absolutely.
there. And so I get so excited. And I'm just like, no, but you got to get it. No, I'm you, you're me. We're just having two different experiences.
That's it. I
Because we
just wanna
can't, I mean, we can be in every place at the same time. And that's exactly what we're doing. And every little thing from a plant to anything, we're all having an experience.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's just for a different perspective.
Right.
Because if you can see every perspective at the same time, I mean,
Well, we wouldn't be able to process as three-dimensional beings.
exactly.
You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And that's what I was gonna say. It's like, it's interesting because, to understand what even 5D existence is, I think is something really amazing, but it's like we're still limited by our 3D senses and language to describe it. You know what I mean? We can't even describe 5D and 3D language. I mean, I feel like I feel like we can. And maybe, okay, so I'm thinking as I'm speaking to you, I think that's what psychic mediums do. You know what I mean? They're able to kind of cross over realms. You know what I
I'll be
mean?
honest with you. Since my spiritual awakening about 3 years ago, like when it really hit,
Hmm.
I noticed some changes in my normal intuition.
Okay.
It used to be like, oh, I know who's going to call. It used to be like, hey, dad, be careful. I feel like you're going to get hit by a car. And he said to me, wow, if you didn't call me, this car would have hit me. It just ran a stop sign. These things happen to a lot of people.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I suddenly found myself being able to really actually hear within my own voice. It's not like a separate voice, it's your own, just like any other intuitive pull.
Hmm.
And I think it's a skill everyone has.
Hmm.
It's not like we're separate, better, different. I think we paid attention to that intuitive voice and
Hmm.
we fed it enough so that it built some strength that we can really clarify, okay, this is my own and this is something else.
Mm. Wow.
And it got to the point where I could literally like just know. It was just like a instant download of like, wow, did your like I'll give you an example. My my daughter's grandmother came over, and for some reason I saw her father in my mind's eye, just
Hmm.
walking back and forth.
Hmm.
And he kept telling me, watch me now, look at me now. He had a Trinidadian accent. I apologize for the butchering of that accent, but
That was kind of good. Wasn't so bad.
so I said, why is your father showing me that? And she puts her hand over her mouth and she said, because he was in a wheelchair his whole life.
Wow.
So he was telling me to tell her that
Everything's
he's
okay.
walking now
Wow.
and that everything is good.
That's amazing.
And I
And you knew
realized,
you knew that that was the message. You were able to
yeah,
interpret that.
Yeah.
Once you put, see, I've watched, a good friend of mine is Christopher Allen. I don't know if you know who he is. He's an amazing psychic, and I've watched him work, and he says the same thing. And I certainly resonate with, it's something we all have within us.
Yeah.
I mean, I resonate with the idea that, there's so much within us that we don't, we have to start unpacking, as human beings, and we are, and that's why I think we're seeing so many people come into their psychicness, and come into their intuition.
I'll be honest, I
Um,
started getting creeped out by it. I did. I
tell me more. I want to hear it. This is
It
interesting.
got bad. It got bad. And here I am, a model. I'm like, how am I going to tell the world that I might be
How are
really
you going to tell the
psychic?
world that you're getting messages?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's start with my family. Let's see
Okay.
how that goes. Let's tell a few close friends. Let's see how that goes. And it wasn't so much as like, are people going to think I'm lying? It was more like, how can I do this gracefully? Like, hey, I think that, your grandmother that just passed away is trying to tell me to tell you something. And it's
Right.
really important. I had this one gentleman, his grandmother just kept on. It was like every day. I was living in the movie The Ghost as Whoopi Goldberg. It started to get like
Wow.
annoying, and I was just getting really fed up. And I was like, I know I'm not going crazy. And I could
Right.
hear like an Italian
Well,
accent, and I was just like, wow, what is going on? So I started reaching out to other psychic mediums.
mhm.
No help whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah,
See, I was going to say, I heard from a lot of psychic mediums that you've got to kind of put yourself in a place to protect yourself from, well,
yeah.
not even protect yourself from evil energies, but the whole idea of what you were saying about turning it off, like
I
being able
couldn't.
to,
I
you
couldn't
couldn't.
turn it off.
Wow. Can you do it now? Can you turn it off now?
I
Have you
could.
learned?
Oh, I did. I
Yeah.
sincerely turned the whole thing down.
Yeah.
I had a long conversation, and I realized I started having conversation with my spirit guides, my higher self,
Mhm.
God. I call it the crew. It's all of us. So when I say, when I'm sitting here and I'm like talking to myself, I refer to myself as us, because it's not really just me. It's my higher self. It's God. It's like a whole team.
Right.
So I was like, we gotta turn it off. I was cooking
Mhm.
one day, and I saw like a black figure or silhouette walk past me. It was so vivid that I thought it was my daughter. It
Okay.
wasn't my daughter. I was like, no, 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 no. It didn't scare me. I wasn't frightened, but I was like, no. I draw the line at seeing anything. No, 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 no. It's not happening. I was like, I'll maybe relay a message or two that you asked me to.
Okay. So
But
through
I'm
your
not going to
intentions,
start. Huh?
you kind of set this boundary. You were like, no, no,
Yes.
I'm not going there. Let's.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
quickly realized that it didn't happen again, at
Okay.
least for like almost another year. I guess, spirit or my higher self or myself had to be ready. Like,
Mhm.
here was a little window into what it could be.
Mhm.
It could go further. You're pretty open minded.
Right. Right.
And so I realized, I was like, no, I wasn't ready. But now recently I've been kind of warming up back to it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Because, you
And-
also see the good and the bad.
right. Right. Well, I'm sure it comes with its challenges. I can't even imagine. Like I said, and I
It's
don't
also
think.
funny. It could be funny if you believe in
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
beings. Like, I
And
don't know if you believe in little, what are they called? Elves, gnomes.
I believe in everything.
Well, there's like little tiny people
Okay.
that like are, I guess, in like certain mythologies that
Mhm.
we hear about.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not like you can fully see it as clear as you and I, but
Hmm.
I promise you, in my mind's eye, it's pretty clear. Like, when it
Okay.
happens, there was
Okay.
a little dude in my closet. I was
Okay.
like, can you get out? Can you
So
leave?
I mean, so you've realized
I know the difference.
your level of control when you can kind of step in and say, "All right, I'm in control here."
Yeah,
Um,
it's because when you're more open to it, they're gonna come to you. They're gonna make their presence known. It's not like I've never gotten to the point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I can't turn this off.
Right.
That's not what this gift is for.
Mm-hmm.
God would never have that happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
you're not comfortable, you don't feel safe, it immediately stops. Because I personally have a theory about why some of our psychic gifts get unlocked and why it doesn't. If you know anything about the story of Atlantis,
I
about
do, but
abusing your power,
I do know a bunch of stuff, but I want to hear it from you. I want our audience to hear what you're talking about.
so it's kind of going hand in hand with the theory of Atlantis about when you abuse your power, you have to regain the trust of the universe with it. You can throw things off balance. If right now I suddenly had the power to move things with my mind, I don't trust myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm still capable of getting upset emotionally in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
even with having a higher level of consciousness and understanding and awareness. I get emotional.
Sure.
And once I get to a point where I'm untouchable emotionally, I will never have an explosive, I'm like a very zen full time. I think that's when it begins to unlock things more like with a monk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
People that have practiced deep meditation because in a way you've earned it
Mm-hmm.
and the universe can trust you with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to explode anybody listening to dead spirits,
Right. Right.
or any spirit on the other side, because apparently, even according to science, there's other dimensions. So why not? I know there's photographers that try to take photographs of other dimensions, and I've seen some of the pictures. Pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very cool stuff. It's so amazing. It's like I'm feeling like every sentence you say, we can go off in all of these different directions and have these
I'm terrible. I'm
conversations.
sorry.
No, it's great. It's amazing. I love these conversations. I love knowing, all of these things. But I do have a friend who's pretty cynical, and he's like, I kind of went through that whole thing, and he's like, why? He's like, why would you do it? And I said, well, you learn some basic things that make navigating life easy. You know what I mean? Understanding that the energy exchange, the idea that everything is an energy exchange, and you kind of have control over that. You know what I mean? It's very specifically talking about interacting with other people. You know what I mean? You have control over that, and
Yeah.
you can let what someone's saying and doing in your interaction affect you a certain way and go with
You could
that,
choose
or
how you feel.
you can choose how you feel. Exactly. And sometimes it's not easy. It's certainly a struggle. I
Gonna
think
practice.
it's a lot of practice. I mean, and understanding the role of ego, is all a part of that. And
Yeah.
I think, again, so that's why when he says, why would you want to do that, I said, that's why. And for me, it's almost like I don't need to keep digging and digging and digging and find out why are we here, because those little secrets, I'm like, well, that's why we're here. I'm here to make it easier all the time. You know what I mean? And just
I
understand
found the
it.
secret, by the way. I already know why we're all here.
Oh yeah, why don't you tell us
To be fully ourselves.
that? Absolutely, we
To
are
fully love
a, th-
ourselves.
1,000% in agreement. 1,000, and
Because with self-love, you truly find that one
mm-hmm,
place of consciousness,
mm-hmm,
and your consciousness will expand, and your love of self will now extend to everyone.
mm-hmm. So interesting. On that note, is this other uh, podcast that I've been doing called The Strange and Wonderful, which one of the viewers from this podcast, Courtney, I don't know if she's here tonight. I think she's actually on another podcast as a guest, but she came up with this idea because she herself is in a relationship with a doll. So she has a boyfriend, and she has a doll who is her girlfriend, and that relationship is very important to her.
Okay.
And what was so cool about becoming friends with her is hearing something like that and not really understanding it as far as how
Yeah.
I run my life or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what makes sense to me, but having no judgment at all about it and being like, oh, that's kind of cool. And almost even being like, well, how does that work? Like wanting to know, and not in like, I want to make fun of you way, but kind
No,
of
no,
like
but from a 5D way.
from a
That
5D
doll
way.
has energy.
Exactly. So we started the show, and I've been talking to some really interesting people. We've had 4 episodes so far. I think we had 4. Um, I spoke to a trans woman who also has a relationship with a doll, and I literally felt myself expanding during this conversation. It was like the craziest thing. I'm like, wow, like I kind of get it. And even though I don't necessarily want to go live my life that way,
Yeah.
I have more of an empathy for it, and it was just so amazing to feel that about myself. You know what I mean? Like, wow, like and I'm sure also on that note, I'm sure part of your beliefs are um, that I am another yourself, right? I mean, we are all each other at some point in time, which is
Mhm.
another odd word to use, right? In these
Yeah.
conversations. Um, and that was something I noticed recently too, was being able to meet people. I've always been traditionally kind of antisocial. I didn't really like to meet
Same.
people,
No,
but
but same though.
now through this platform and these conversations and meeting people, I'm starting to find it really easy to see the reflection of myself in other people,
Oh,
especially
that's
people,
beautiful.
especially people who are so different than me.
Yes.
And that is, again, that's
That's
just such an
beautiful. That's a
amazing
gift.
feeling.
That's a
Yeah, that's
beautiful thing to get to see back.
it's so cool. It really is. And it's just part of unconditional love, understanding what that even means. I think, you can kind of get an idea of it, but I think until you start really feeling it,
I'll be
it's hard.
honest with you, with the unconditional love thing, I think I had a natural resting rate since I was very young. I
Okay.
was, I had a pretty tough childhood. I think most people that awaken early, their lives were designed to be rough in the beginning to help speed up the process of awakening, particularly during this time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, I mean, not to, hoard any kind of sympathy or anything like that, because clearly it made me who I am.
Right.
But I definitely wasn't allowed to establish an ego in the traditional sense.
Okay.
So my ego had a very early death by
Mm.
like 7.
In a good way.
No,
Not at the time.
no, because to develop as a person,
Hmm.
you need to have some sense of identity of I
Sure.
am
Sure.
and have a strong framework of what that means for you. And most people get to develop that as a child.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm
Okay,
developing it
that
now.
makes sense. That makes sense. So I just want to take a quick moment to some chat has been going on. We have a listener, Tim, who just had a baby recently. He also has a daughter who is transitioning to a man, and it definitely takes unconditional love to understand that journey. So I just wanted to say hello to Tim because he was saying hi in the chat, and he actually
Hi, Tim.
earlier said hello to you as well. Um, and he popped on last week as Jesse was saying goodbye. We opened up the floor to people to come on, and he came on and told his amazing story. He is also such a warrior. He's had like surgeries to have parts of his stomach removed and all of these things
Yeah.
through his life, and the amazing story about his ex who had 27 personalities, like and
Oh,
like like
that's a lot.
the kind of schizophrenia that one personality has diabetes and one doesn't, and
I understand what they are. Yeah.
their physiology will
Yeah, yeah, I
change
get it.
instantly. Amazing. Like, oh my god, the story was phenomenal. So I just wanted to say hi to Tim. I don't want to take away
That's a
from
great
Dottie.
story, by the way. I
It
mean,
is
not, you know, in that sense, but I mean, it is a great story. Like,
just in
I
the
get
sense
it.
of this
My
this
uncle has
amazing world.
schizophrenia, but he didn't have multiple personalities. He just had plain schizophrenia. So I understand that part of it, though.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It's just amazing uh how much more there is to this 3D world than really most of us experience. That's one of the things I've been finding through these conversations as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, think about the unique perspective it would take to be that person. How many wonderful eh, perspectives that they go through. And, I have this belief that when we do pass, we wake up to the other side. The first thing God's asking us is, hey, kid, what'd you learn?
Hmm.
Report back to me. This isn't right. This isn't wrong. It's got nothing to do with being evil or good. This has got nothing to do with passing a test necessarily. It's more like, what did you learn?
Right. So as you're saying that, I feel like I'm supposed to be saying, you know, that's one of the things, the issues that, you know, we need to help as people who do understand, is that most people don't understand how important self-love is. And you know,
Yeah.
like, you can't even start to have relationships with other people until you have a
Mhm.
relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
And nobody's taught that. Everybody's taught, like, you
The
know,
opposite almost.
the opposite almost, exactly, you know, besides all of the other opposite things that we're taught that are opposite from truth.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so important. And man, I forget, you know, we haven't spoken in so long, but I am just enjoying talking to you. You are
Oh,
so
thank you.
articulate, and I'm hearing you so clearly. It's like talking to myself. I love it. It's part of that
Oh,
like
thank
that
you.
reflection thing. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, no, I've definitely, it's been, and this is a pleasure because I don't get out often anymore right now. I have small babies, and usually I stay under a mommy rock for a good 7 years before I come out. Emerging a little early this time, and I'm really glad that we get to talk about this because, you know, when you do wake up, the first thing I think everybody that when they wake up is, how many other people are there? Am I the only one? And then you realize how many people are waking up, and you're like, yes, yes. And then you want to go and find everybody. Like, are you awake? Are you awake? Are you awake?
Right, right.
And then you get so
And
excited.
and it's
I
such
was
a
literally posting it on my Facebook. I'm like, is anyone awake?
I know, that was amazing. I love that. I felt the call to answer. It was just like, you know, uh, so amazing. Well, you know, we've been doing this for an hour and we haven't really even scratched the surface. I mean, you know, I did want to talk about your mothership. You know, just about how what an amazing mother you are, and I don't even know half of it, but just knowing you, I know it. You know what I mean?
Oh, honey, thank you. Thank you. I would say that I teach my kids to be pretty open minded, and I don't give them one set religion
Mhm.
because I want them to decide what they want when they're older. You
Mhm.
know, and I didn't even pierce my kids' ears because I was like, no, it's your body, it's your choice, kid. You know, you get
Mhm.
older, you want it, you do it. You're not my possession, you're not
Right.
mine.
Wow.
I'm your guide to give you the best advice that I can possibly give you, nurture and love you. But
Right.
ultimately, it's your life, it's your choices. You got to live with it. You know, I tell my
Right.
daughter all the time, you can clean your room or not. You're living in the mess, not me.
Wow. I wish you were my mom.
Oh,
My mom would come in and, like, throw my drawers on the floor and, like
I think I go a step further beyond what like some people would say guilting your child is I truly leave it up to them and let them see the consequences in real time.
but that's amazing because you're there to protect them and guide them, and, you
Yeah,
know,
for while
I'm
it's
sure.
still like something serious, like, you know.
Right, right, and I'm sure you make suggestions along the way, and
Yeah, I had
even
like
though
for an
you
example, I had a bottle of water that I had sitting on my windowsill for maybe 2 weeks. I had forgotten it was behind the curtain. It was just a bottle of water.
right,
And she really wanted it. And I was like, I'm not telling you you can't drink it. I'm telling you, I don't recommend you drink it. If you want to drink it, go ahead, but you're going to
right,
get sick.
right.
She's like, okay, I don't want the water.
There you go. Perfect example. That's awesome. Well, I kind of feel like I should wrap it up
Yeah, till next
right now,
time.
but I do, you know, hang on when as I wrap it up, because I do want to talk to you about getting together and doing some photo shoots. I know we've always done it on social media, but I've just forgot how wonderful you are. So
Oh, honey, thank you.
I'm gonna make it happen. I'm doing a lot of cool things, and I've got some facilities available to me and stuff. So
Awesome.
maybe, you know, I know you're in Nassau, and that was kind of one of the things that was, you know, all the way out here in Suffolk.
Oh, I love Suffolk though. It's so beautiful. There's so
Yeah,
many places to shoot out there. I love it.
Long Island is actually a
It's
beautiful
beautiful.
place. It gets a bad rap, but it's a beautiful place. Um, so I will have you back on the show. I've got to kind of figure out the format. I'm actually even thinking of talking to you and seeing if you're interested in co-hosting, because you're just so articulate, and
Oh, thank you.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you could help me,
Yeah.
you know,
Make sure
do.
I'll make sure next time I'm not shivering because I feel like I'm not articulating at the best I possibly could because I'm so cold. I'm like, don't over shiver on camera.
You are amazing. I didn't even notice that you were shivering, and
Okay, good.
I appreciate your perseverance to get through the shivering and be here with me.
No problem. Thank you, hon, for having me.
So again, hang on. I'm just going to play the outro. Everybody, thank you so much for coming and putting up with the issues that we had at the beginning with the feedback. I'm glad everybody stuck around and decided to watch this. And I will have Dottie back either as a guest or, hey, maybe she'll be my co-host. Who knows? We'll see you guys next week. Bye.